What's up, Bulldogs? All right, today I got an email from a guy who said that he's on his third marriage and it's not going so well. And this sucks, right? This is not something that you want to have happen. I can guarantee you, and a lot of guys can probably relate to this. I mean, maybe you're not married 3 times, but you've probably been in long-term relationships, and every time it seems like you get screwed over. The girl lies to you, cheats on you, loses interest in you, starts to become naggy, disrespectful. You're like, what happened to this sweet girl that I married or got into a relationship with, and now she's acting this way, all right? Or maybe you just get rejected by women all the time. I'm going to give you a cure for this. I'm going to tell you what the problem is, right? So the big thing that I think a lot of guys are focusing on is finding the right girl. And I can guarantee you, this guy that's been married 3 times, he probably on the 3rd time thought, I finally found the right girl, and then found that she's not what he thought that she was. And this is a very common thing. So instead of focusing on trying to find the right girl, okay, what you really should be focusing on is trying to become the right man. And this is really the key to it, because what you need to understand about women that is so important is that women are a reflection of the man that they're with. I'll repeat that. Women are a reflection of the man that they're with, okay? It's different between being a man and a woman. A man, as a man, okay, who I am is primarily what I've decided to become and influenced by my environment, of course, okay? So I have a lot of ability to go out there and become the kind of man that I want to become. I am influenced mostly by my own thinking because I am the leader of my life and the environment that I'm in, right? Environment definitely has a big influence on it. But as a woman, okay, it's totally different, right? Especially when she's in a relationship with a man, right? Now, it's not to say that a woman isn't responsible for her behavior and her actions or any of those things, okay? Obviously, she's responsible for it. But at the same time, she adopts she basically, let's not say adopts, but she reacts to the behavior of the man that she's with, all right? If a woman is in a relationship with a man, she becomes a reflection of that man. Not a direct reflection, but a result of the seeds that he sows. Think of it as a man in a relationship with a woman, you are a gardener, okay? And she is the garden. And whatever seeds you plant, that's what you're going to reap. And the problem is that most guys, all right, are focused on the plant. They see the plant that comes up, and they're like, oh, I must have the wrong plant, all right? And so they're like, I need to find a new plant, all right? And that's what focusing on finding the right woman is. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't pay any attention to finding the right woman. Obviously, you should have standards and you should carefully vet women and you should be skilled enough in attracting women and talking with women to be able to have the experience to be able to pick a good woman to start with. But even if you pick the best woman, the most wonderful woman in the world, if you do not know how to plant the right seeds in that garden, she will turn into a nagging bitch. I promise you, okay? And a lot of guys will agree with me that they've seen this happen, okay? The problem is that most guys that I talk to, and I've been coaching guys for over 10 years here, and I've seen everything. Most guys think that the problem is with the woman. And granted, yes, ultimately, she's responsible for her behavior. Ultimately, there are problems that she has. But here's the thing. When you're a man in a relationship with a woman, you have to take the position of authority and leadership and guidance. And you're supposed to guide her to her fullest potential as a woman. Just like, if you're in a good relationship with a woman should make you a better man, all right? Now, all of this hinges on you. Because a woman doesn't have as much influence as you do, right? A woman cannot influence you as much as you can influence her in a relationship and her behavior. And so you have to understand how to behave as a man. Stop blaming the woman. Now, I'm going to give you a good book, The Masculine Relationship. If you haven't read this book, read this book. Absolutely. Every single man who's ever been in a relationship, whoever wants to be in a relationship, should read this book by G.S. Youngblood, okay? This book is sort of the spiritual successor to The Way of the Superior Man by David Deida, but this goes much more into detail in being masculine in a relationship, which is a very, very critical skill to have. Now, some of the things that he talks about in this book, and these are things that when I read this book, because I had figured these things out on my own, and it took me a long time and a lot of pain and a lot of heartbreak. All right, I was like, this guy gets it. This makes sense. And one of the primary things that he talks about in this book is this idea that, again, a woman is a reflection of the environment that you are creating in her life. And most guys don't understand how to relate to women. And most women, okay, that act up, if they're disrespectful, they're nagging, there's usually a couple causes to it. But the number one cause is, one, that she doesn't feel loved, and two, that she doesn't respect you. Okay. And so we can solve both of those things. So the first thing of making her feel loved. Now, a lot of guys I talk to, they're like, no, of course I make her feel loved. This is ridiculous. In fact, she doesn't appreciate how much I do for her, right? I work, I make money, I take her places, I buy her things, I compliment her, right? I solve her problems, I take care of her. She's just ungrateful, and she disrespects me, and she doesn't appreciate any of the things that I do. Okay. So I understand that doing things for her makes you think that that is how you're showing her love. But what actually happens is, if you're not doing the one most important thing that makes a woman feel loved, all of those things that you do for her will actually feel like a slap in the face, and like you're just adding insult to her injury. I know that seems really weird, but it almost feels like, to women, like you're trying to make up for not giving her what she really wants. So think of it this way, right? Imagine that you were in a relationship with a woman, because women primarily want to feel loved, men want to feel sex. They want to feel that a woman desires them sexually, right? They want that element of the relationship. Not that you don't want to feel loved and she doesn't want sex, but those are the primary driving forces, right? And so imagine you're in a relationship with a woman, and she never wants to have sex with you, okay? You ask her for sex, you tell her you're interested, she just doesn't want to. She just, no, right? But she tries to show you how much she loves you by buying you gifts, okay? She gives you a back massage, she pays you compliments, tells you how attractive you are, okay? She does all these things for you, right? And then how would you feel? You would probably feel actually not loved, and you would probably feel like all those things that she's doing for you actually add insult to the injury. You'd probably start to get angry about that, and maybe you would start to get a little bit resentful and be like, why are you giving me a gift? Oh, you made me dinner again. Great. Like you would start to actually get upset by the things that you felt like she was doing to try to win your affection without giving you the one thing that you want. All right. That's how a lot of women feel. Now, what is the one thing that they want? I know you're probably asking this question by now. Here's the thing, okay? It's real simple, actually. They want their emotions validated. And I know, this seems too simple, right? What does this actually mean, to validate their emotions? It literally just means this, okay? It means that when she feels a way, and women feel all kinds of crazy ways, okay? Their emotions, their hormones, everything, especially around particular times of the month, you know what I'm talking about, they will go crazy, and they have crazy thoughts in their head, and they will just say stupid stuff, and they will think dumb things, and it's just because it's not logical. Women are driven by emotion, and so they will be hyper emotional, okay, and react to things that make no sense at all. The other day, my wife, in fact, I handled this wrong, okay, but Nicole, she was upset, okay, get this, for a couple of days actually, because there was these apple cider gummy vitamins, okay? And I thought no one was taking them. I guess she bought them, and she was taking them a couple every day. And so I took a couple the other day, and she's like, why are you taking those ones? Why don't you just use the vinegar, since you can just drink vinegar? And I was like, oh, well, what do you care? It's not like you're taking them anyway. And I didn't even think anything of it, but she got really upset about that. that she felt like it was a slight on her, that I was insulting her by inferring that she wasn't taking the vitamin. No, don't ask me to explain why this even makes any sense, okay? To her, it does. To her, it's like her emotions make sense, right? The logic doesn't make sense, but she felt this way. She felt like I was slighting her, that I looked down on her because of this. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going on here, right? And so the thing is, and where I screwed up, is that instead of just validating her emotion, be like, oh, wow, yeah, I didn't mean to make you feel like that, that I didn't care about you just because I said that. It wasn't meant to be sarcastic. I'm sorry that you felt that way. I really didn't mean to make you feel that way at all, Instead of doing that, I was like, this is ridiculous. And it's the wrong answer. It's the wrong way it was ridiculous, okay? But she knows that, but it doesn't matter. What started to happen was that because I wasn't validating her emotions, because I wasn't showing that I cared about how it made her feel, whether it was right or wrong, that became the central, her brain just focused on that thing. It's like, he doesn't love me. If he doesn't validate my emotion, if he doesn't care about how I felt, regardless of why I felt that way, he doesn't love me. And so anything else I was saying was getting blocked out, okay? And so What you have to understand is that when you are in a relationship with a woman, in order to make her feel loved, the primary thing that you're going to do is that you are going to validate her emotions. You're going to tell her that those things matter, right? And a lot of it looks like letting her vent, all right? You may have heard this before, not being reactive to that. Don't get emotionally involved in that. Like, let her vent, ask her questions, let her get her emotions out, okay? You don't get to vent, all right? Well, that's a topic for another video, but let her vent. You should handle your emotions in a different way, all right? And then don't try and fix her problems. That's it. Okay. If you could be that kind of guy, you've solved problem number one, okay, which is making her feel loved, and her behavior will change dramatically. Okay, a woman that feels love, now all of a sudden all those things that you're doing for her, she's going to appreciate more because she's going to say, well, this guy really loves me because he listens to what I have to say and listens to my emotions and cares about them, and he shows me with these gifts. Now those become an addition, all right? Now the second thing, though, is that she has to respect you. And in order to gain a woman's respect, you have to have a backbone. So this is where most men screw up, is they can either do one or the other, all right, but not both at the same time. And what this looks like is even though you're validating her emotions, okay, you're not necessarily agreeing with them and you're not necessarily agreeing with the action, right? It's a matter of showing the empathy, right? Not being reactive to it, not getting angry, getting upset, just saying, okay, I understand how you feel, whatever, empathizing with those things, but then still making your own decision. And even if she disagrees with it, that's fine, okay, because you have showed that you cared about her emotions, but still you're going to make, and she might be upset about it, but you have to have a backbone. You have to stand up for yourself. This also comes in terms of tolerating disrespect. If a woman is disrespectful for you, disrespectful to you, you need to draw some boundaries. You need to say, look, don't talk to me that way. And if she persists, you need to leave. And you need to show her that any moment you're willing to leave if you're not being treated properly. This has to always be the case. As men, you always have to demonstrate this to a woman. So this is really the keys. I'm not going to draw this video out and make it super long because you've gotten the 2 points here, okay? But the main focus to understand, like I said, is don't focus on trying to find the right woman. Yes, you need to find the right woman. Yes, you need to have filters and qualifier and all these things. But most guys' problem is not their selection in women, okay? It really isn't, okay? Because most women can be shaped to be a beautiful feminine woman if given the right environment, if given the right soil to grow in, if the right seeds are planted by the gardener. What you need to focus on is becoming a good gardener, because let me tell you, if you become a good gardener, okay, you will be able to produce good fruits in women. You'll be able to have any woman blossom under your care. Now, you might not want this woman, okay? But if a woman is being disrespectful, nagging, and treating you like crap, it is because of you. It's because you are not planting the right seeds, or you should have gotten rid of her a long time ago, okay? But when you start doing this, then you can cultivate the garden, and then you can decide which garden you want to keep, which woman that you want. But you have to develop that skill first, because it doesn't matter if you have, if you start with the selection of the seeds, if you have, if you're selecting on the woman, right, on the plants itself, you don't understand what's causing the plant, okay? And so if you're focused on that instead of focused on yourself and becoming a good gardener, you're never going to get a good crop. You're always going to think you're going to get a good crop, and you're never going to get a good crop. So if you want a good crop, focus on becoming a good gardener. Don't focus on the plants.